This is the party that is just slapping Labour up and down, like slapping Labour at every single juncture. But look at the branding. Like he's not even. He is a terrible orator. But even still, he knows how to brand, and he sounds convinced what he's saying. He's talking. Look at the things he's referencing. What people want, not what Labour wants. What people want. So he's saying. Yeah. So he mentioned Brexit. He mentioned building back a stronger economy. He mentioned the European Super League, like that. Even the European Super League, in the grand scheme of the political sphere and life in the UK, is not very significant. But he knows that the whole country cared about it. The country stood still for 3 days. What did Boris and them make sure they did? They were front and center with what the public wanted. What does that do? Build up equity. Speak about coronavirus and dealing with coronavirus and getting the vaccines in place and opening things up. What does that do? Build equity. It builds trust. Even so, that literally wipes away so many mistakes you've made. A lot of these mistakes are a bit more political. Ooh, cash for curtains. That seems a bit dodgy. Dominic Cummings. That seems a bit dodgy. But in grand schemes of things, that everyday, maybe me and you care, but everyday person, they don't care about. They don't care about cash for curtains. Like, am I going to be vaccinated? Are my kids going to be safe in the streets? Am I going to be able to go on holiday? These are the type of things that people care about, and the Tories have been. Credit to them, they've been on point with it. And that's
I just think, I mean, there's even one thing from a branding perspective. So let's say Kier Starmer is really interested in branding. His team has let him down big time, because you've got you've got a situation where Kier Starmer is in Parliament, it seems, standing behind some books, talking about leadership, whatever it is, and you got Boris Johnson, wind blowing in his hair, in Hartlepool, laughing. Doing his thumbs up, and he's and he's on top of that. He's so good at playing like policy ... So we know that Brexit is the big, Jenga block, for want of a better term, or the pillar for that the Conservative Party have built this, this tenure on. They're gonna say, listen, what we've done for this election cycle is it's Brexit. We've got Brexit done. And so he then skillfully connects all the other wins that probably aren't that connected to Brexit, to Brexit. So talking about the European Super League and how, because of Brexit, and you're talking about the vaccine rollout, is that because of Brexit? Talking about, and you're like, hold on, but you're not thinking about it, because say what you want about Boris Johnson, and I've said a lot about him. I don't think I'm ever going to meet him, and I've met some other prime ministers. But say what you want to say about Boris Johnson, he's likable. There's an optimism about him that's genuinely, and that's the thing about Kier Starmer. It's really odd, but I don't think Kier Starmer is that likable.
He's not likable. He represents what people, no disrespect to him, but he represents what people are put off by politics. Like, just his whole look, as you said, the branding. He's in Parliament behind books. People just thinking, oh, another politician. He's not very charismatic. Obviously, you can't help being charismatic or not, but he's not very charismatic. I don't even think Jeremy Corbyn is very charismatic, but at least he presented himself as like the everyday man. Like, you see the way he dresses, the way he speaks, the way he presents himself. Kier Starmer just looks like a career politician.
Yeah,
and
literally
a career politician that is doing badly in the game of politics against somebody that is doing better in the game of politics that looks like somebody that I can like. Like, there's a reason why you see Boris talk about, and as soon as things are open, I can't wait to have a pint down the pub. Like, there's a reason he does stuff like that.
But I think he actually does like having a pint down the pub.
No. Yeah, 100%. But there's a reason why his advisors are making sure that
forefront of the communication.
100%. Rishi sitting in a restaurant with like a little cap on and an apron, like they're doing this.
His one, Rishi's one is less potent, because with him, it's Brandon. He keeps hiring people to follow him around, like taking pictures. Like it seems it's a bit much. It's a bit much.
Boris is natural,
but Boris is natural, and I just think, I mean, sure, people might say this is much ado about nothing, but I do think, in an odd type of way, even though he has a thumping majority, he's clearly leading from the front. And the fact that people are able to tell you what Boris Johnson, quote unquote, stands for and his values, that's something that hasn't been forthcoming with the opposition. And they need to get on top of that as soon as possible.
Should I tell you a good example of Boris leading from the front? And when I noticed it was obviously when Boris, unfortunately from him, caught COVID, and we had the daily updates. We had Dominic Raab come in, all these other people. Raab looked messy. Hancock, terrible. It was only Rishi that was all right when he was doing it. But even like in terms of answering the questions, they weren't confident, they didn't know what to say. When Boris came in, it's like he had control of the room. Like he knew how to bounce off some of the questions that he didn't really want to answer. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So even in that period, and that's when you had all the leaks coming out, all that type of stuff. But as soon as Boris came back, it was business as usual. So say what you want about Boris, at least he gives leadership type of energy, and he gives people something to get behind, whether you like it or not. You see what I'm saying? So